Hey gang. There we go. Shannon here. We got a new episode of Hometown for you. This week we have Andy Ross talking to us about Blue Plate Special, an improv group that's going to be at the Capitol Theater in Greeneville this Sunday, February 9th, 2019. They're going to be putting on an improv show. They've got another one later in the month. We'll talk about that later on. Bailey couldn't be with us this time. She'd been out of town when I'd originally scheduled Andy. And then we had to cancel, and then we rescheduled, and then we had to cancel that. And so this is our third rescheduling. Scheduled it for somewhere that was going to be nice and quiet, but turns out it wasn't quiet, and we had to move up the street. Kat at Johnson City Brewing Company was kind enough to let us stay there and do the interview right there in the tap room. It got a little noisy. I've done what I can with the noise. It's a little hot room, but I think you're going to be able to hear it just fine. Great interview with Andy. Funny guy, fascinating guy. This is part 1 of 2, so we're going to talk about Blue Plate Special this episode, and then next episode we're going to be back with Andy, and we're going to be talking more about him, his writing, his love of film. He produces a series of movie nights at the Capitol where they spotlight just some of the greatest movies, and he really loves them. But we'll get back to that. That'll be next week. Right now, Andy Ross is going to be talking to us about the Blue Plate Special. Let's cue that title. I'm here with Andy.
Hello.
Andy Ross.
Yes.
It's great to finally have a chance to have a conversation with you.
To finally meet.
We've traveled in I guess parallel orbits.
Similar circles.
We have lots of mutual friends. Facebook told us, and then
well into the 20s. I think mutual friends.
Yeah. And we just never had a chance to. I think we met at some art show or something at one point, just to say hi, but we didn't have a chance to talk. So now we get to sit down and have a conversation.
And people get to witness it.
That's right. Proof. We're not the same person.
We're not the same person.
We're in the same
Clark Kent thing. We don't go into a non-existent phone booth, switch costumes, and you go and do improv, and then I go and announce roller skate.
Right. Yeah. And now that's the conspiracy theory that's going to follow us around.
The Tri-Cities could use one.
It's a conspiracy theory we never wanted.
But didn't know that we needed until now. But that's the beauty of it.
Improv. We're here today to talk about improv.
Yes, we are.
Now we're going to be back. We're going to come back later on. First, we're going to talk about your improv. Mm-hmm. Now, I love improv. I've never formally done it. Mm-hmm. Part of what I do as an MC, announcer, entertainer is improv. But
where you're thinking on your feet.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm thinking on my feet. I won't even call it improv. I'm thinking on my feet. But improv is an art form, and you can't just grab people off the street and throw them in improv.
Oh no, I've witnessed that before.
Me too.
It's interesting. It is interesting to say the least.
I can barely hold on whenever I have a couple improv comics with me because they're shorthands that I don't.
I'll tell you, play a game of Risk with some improv performers.
Yeah.
I think it lasted 6 hours. We put on marches in the background, and it's a very fun afternoon into evening.
That's awesome. How'd you get started in improv?
Well, so I'm a part of Blue Plate Special, which is a local improv group that was started 5 years ago by Aaron and Steve Schultz, married couple. I've actually known Aaron for 20 years. We went to high school together. Yeah, and then she moved down to South Carolina and met this bearded man named Steve. And they got married, and they're awesome, and they have 2 incredible children, Sam and Zeta. So if they're watching this, hello. And they decided they had done improv in South Carolina. When they came up here, they started performing at the Blue Moon Dinner Theater. And they thought, well, we need to start doing the improv thing here. And they had told me about it. They told me about it. The earliest concept of this was going to be happening at a friend's wedding. This was months before the auditions happened. And then on Valentine's Day night, 2014, we did our first show.
2014.
2014.
And where was that show at?
At the Blue Moon.
The
auditions were the week prior.
Wow.
So like the next week we were doing improv. Yeah.
How'd that one go?
I think it went well. I have memories of being funny. They all blur together after a while.
You get the impression this is something that we need to keep doing?
Oh yeah. I used to do theater when I was a teenager, and I hadn't done any theater since 2001, I think. So to then suddenly be on stage, which I was nervous, I hadn't done that in forever, and then to do improv, and then to find, I'm not dying up here. That was very pleasant to find.
That's great. When did it become, official? We're now this thing. We're going to start.
I think really that first night, because it was kind of from the get-go.
You didn't see it. Sorry.
It's okay. That first night from the get-go, the idea was we were doing shows Friday and Saturday nights after performances.
I got you.
Yeah. And it just snowballed. We did that for about a year, and then we took some time off because Blue Moon unfortunately closed.
Right.
And then we started performing monthly at the Capitol Theater in downtown Greeneville.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And I'm sorry, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I lost track of y'all.
Yeah, it's fair.
When the Blue Moon closed.
Yeah.
Because I believe I attended at least one back then, and I lost track. And then, again, mutual friend Daniel would always post on his Facebook, and I'm like, that looks like so much fun. But nothing against this beautiful town in East Tennessee, but I worked in Greeneville for a really long time, and it created a personal, I go to Greeneville for work.
Yeah, I get that.
I go to Greeneville for work, and so I'm terrible.
Well, and some folks didn't even know that we had started up again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took a while for us to kind of make the Tri-Cities aware of us again.
And are you still doing it on the regular schedule at the Capitol?
More or less. We've had some breaks lately due to everyone's various schedules being crazy. Because I'm just one of many in Blue Plate. I don't think that it's just me on a golden throne. It's not. Nobody. I mean, if you want to pay money to see me sit on a golden throne, that's fine. But yeah, so yeah, we've been doing it pretty much monthly. Pretty much since 2015. There was a stretch without some shows, just again for scheduling. But we've at least been at the Capitol, I'd say at the smallest, maybe 3 or 4 times a year since 2015.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, this is February 6th that we're recording this. When's the next one?
February 9th. Depending on when people
so it's coming up this weekend.
This coming weekend, yeah.
Oh, well,
we got 2 coming up this
This
month.
works out. What an amazing coincidence.
It's incredible how the internet works. Wink.
But no, that is awesome, and it was Daniel from the improv group. We're mutual. We live in the nerd world together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's a great artist.
He's brilliant.
Amazing artist.
He is absolutely brilliant.
I wish he gave himself as much credit for what a great artist he is. But he says, hey, we tried to talk to the leader of
Steve,
your band, Steve, and we just couldn't get the schedule together.
Yeah, Steve's schedule has been great.
Hey, you want to talk to Andy? And I was like, I've been trying to talk to Andy for a while. This works out. Good. and so we got here. The nights that you do the show, do you have this? Do you play the games? Do you have a plan for the shows?
We have set games that we do. We do have a plan sometimes. We have a rehearsal, but we don't rehearse anything that people see on stage. The rehearsal is so we can understand what we're going to be doing, and if we're playing a new game, we know kind of the parameters of that game and where it goes and how it works. So we're not just...
And just for anybody that doesn't understand what the games in an improv show are, could you give us a little preview of that kind of thing? Not one necessarily in particular.
So basically, we do short form improv, which is kind of similar to Whose Line Is It Anyway, though I hate to just jump to that conclusion, but it's an easy way for people to understand.
Well, it kind of grew out of the improv world.
Yeah.
Though. I mean, they took the the improv.
Yeah, it really exploded into people's consciousness after that show.
Yeah.
But so basically, we have these games that we play, and Dream Date is one of them, in which there are two people, and if one of them says something the other one doesn't care for, they can clap. They have to change it. They can clap as many times as they want, and we'll get a location from the audience as to where that date's taking place. So we get, occupations, locations, sort of, this person's keeping a secret from somebody, what is it? All that comes from the audience. So the audience gets to participate. It's an interactive show. But everything you see us do on that stage, everything that's funny, every little line is being made up right on the spot. We don't have scripts in any form.
I love an improv show. I love an improv show. I have friends in Knoxville that do an improv show, and now I've seen them several times because I was in Knoxville a little more often. And I was always like, I've got to find more of this, and I'm kicking myself because it was just 45 minutes away from Johnson City.
Yeah,
I could easily do that. Forget going to Knoxville like once every 6 months.
And we cost $5. I mean, we are $5 to come and see us.
Holy crap! Now that's the Capitol. That's the movie theater.
Capitol's it's a historic movie theater. It's now a performing arts center. In Greeneville.
That's awesome.
I'm also on the board of.
Oh, right on.
Coincidentally enough.
I'm totally pretending like I don't already know all this, just so y'all know. But yeah, that's amazing. The Capitol it's historic. How did you get into improv in the Capitol? Was it just available?
No, the Capitol operated as a movie theater from the late 30s to the early 90s, and then was closed for a long time, and it had several owners. At one point, it was restored and to be a performing arts center. And 4 years ago, Aaron Hensley Schultz was on the board of the Capitol, and she was kind of like, "Let my improv team come. We don't have a place to perform. Please, please, please." And so they were like, "Okay, we'll give you a shot," and it went well.
Awesome.
So that's how it started there.
I want to talk a lot more about the Capitol and all of that stuff. We'll do a part 2, and I want to talk more about you and the stuff you've done. You're a writer. You do the Capitol Theater movie series.
Yeah, I program the classic film series there at the Capitol.
What else are you doing in addition to this improv?
Let's see.
Of course, I say that I'm doing 1,000 things too. I love it.
Yeah. I've been a columnist with the Loafer for 13 years.
Absolutely.
I'm a writer. I'm a humorist. I do classic film. I write about classic film for the retro set.
Oh.
In the column for the retro set, talk about classic films that will come out on Blu-ray. So I'm a film writer.
Right on.
At the occasional master of ceremonies, when people call and they're like, "Hey, will you come and try to amuse people, and we'll pay you?" I'm like, "Yes."
That's a pretty good gig, I gotta say.
Yeah, I hosted a Willy Wonka themed awards dinner, and that was a great deal.
Oh, that's awesome.
People were super awesome to work with.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So I kind of do I just sometimes say I'm just a creative weirdo. That kind of sums it up.
Best way to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the best way to be. Whatever sparks your interest, go for it. I love it. But we'll talk more about that in particular. Yeah. But the Blue Plate Special, back to that, back to the improv. How many more dates do you have this year? You doing it monthly?
Monthly. We're going to be at the Capitol on the 23rd as well, because that's going to be our send-off show too. We're going to the Gatlinburg Improv Festival for the second year in a row.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be March 1st and the 2nd at the Sweet Fanny Adams Theater.
Now, there's a place that I haven't thought of in a long time.
It's a cool place to perform.
I was a teenage theater geek going, one day I'm going to play at the Sweet Fanny Adams Theater. I didn't, but I've come to terms with
it.
Yeah,
it's a fun place. It's a fun stage to be on.
That might be somewhere I need to go check out, because I know that I'm pretty sure my friends in another improv group are going to
Which group?
Einstein Simplified.
Okay, yeah, we know some of them because we saw them at the festival last year.
Fantastic folks. I've known a couple of them for years and years and years. One of them's a good friend of mine.
Very cool. Yeah, so that's coming up. We'll be there. And then I think we are talking with the Capitol about what's open for the rest of the year and seeing our own personal schedule and whatnot. But yeah, we'll definitely be at the Capitol.
So we got 2 chances in February.
2 chances in February.
The 9th is
coming up. The 9th is coming up. The show starts at 7. It is a family-friendly show. If we're on before 10 o'clock, we are family-friendly. So
I won't hold that against it.
Yeah, everybody can come. It's everyone's welcome. So yeah, and then again at the 23rd, again $5 at 7. And then we'll be at the Gatlinburg Improv Festival, and then again at the Capitol, hopefully sometime in March, and I think possibly, I know of a date that they have for us in April. But again, we're trying to figure out where everyone's scheduled.
I understand.
And I should mention everybody else who's in the group.
Yeah, please. Me, How many people are in the group? Do you have like a repertoire that come in and go, or is it the same group?
We have lost a couple of people over the years because we threw them off a bus.
People fall off buses all the time.
There's a PSA comes on CBS late at night about it. It's perfectly normal. We've had a few people who've moved away and whatnot, but there's, I think, 9 of us in total right now. And that's 9 out of 10 shows you will see all 9 of us.
That's awesome. Especially to me, especially a healthy, big improv group. It adds such texture and different approaches.
Well, and we all love each other. Like, we socialize voluntarily with one another. We play board games together. We go out and eat together. I mean, we make each other laugh as much on stage as we do.
That's awesome.
So there is Steve Schultz, who's the leader, along with his wife, Erin Kinsley Schultz. You mentioned Daniel Leach. There's Chris Graff, David Hutton, Matt Quick, Faith Raider, Richard Nave. Sorry, Richard.
You're the one that decided to start naming people.
I know, and I know I'm forgetting some. Oh, no, I mentioned Matt. Mentioned myself? Is that right?
You count. I don't think you mentioned yourself.
Oh, well, then Andy Ross. Yeah, there's the guy who I can't think of. It's me. I was the one in the basket.
I forget that one, too.
Old Man Jenkins.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a whole lot of fun. I've got to check it out. I don't feel obligated. I now feel energized.
Good.
That's the kind of thing I just love.
It's fun. Like, we want the audience to enjoy it, and it's interactive. You get to be a part of the show. You're not just sitting there, and it's not just the same. It's not the same thing, because literally every show is different. You could come see us 2 nights in a row, and we could play the exact same games, but it could be 2 entirely different shows each night.
And some of those nights when the magic happens.
Oh, it's beautiful.
There's nothing better than you can see when these improvers are like, this is what it's supposed to be. Those rare nights. So
and you forget what you did on stage. We'll go out to we'll be like, hey, what was that really funny thing you did? I was like, I don't remember. Like, something happens up there. You're in this weird improv world, and you just, I don't remember doing that.
Cool. There is no Andy. There's only improv.
Oh man, we tried something at rehearsal once, and all I'll say is, it quickly turned into a David Lynch film without anybody planning it to. And you're just like, okay, not sure that's ready for the stage yet, because
awesome.
Improv David Lynch might go over somewhere. We're not sure.
Oh, there's an audience for that.
But yeah, so it's a great deal of fun. I consider myself really fortunate to have been a part of this for 5 years. And improv groups usually don't even last 5 years, so this is kind of like
it's the truth.
It's a silver anniversary by improv time.
It's amazing how they'll come and go, and then you'll see that one that it becomes timeless.
Yeah.
And those are the ones. Now, what else is there to do in Greeneville? You're coming down from Johnson City, from Tri-Cities to Greeneville.
There's
a places
really
to eat.
Nice restaurant across the street from the Capitol in the General Morgan Inn, the Brumley.
Oh yeah,
pretty swanky, nice restaurant.
I've never felt fancy enough to eat there. I've been intimidated.
No, there's a good barbecue place, Stan's.
Oh yeah, Stan's is the legend. I remember when it was the little stand.
Yeah,
little
so
castle.
Cool. Yeah. There's a really cool soul food restaurant now next to Popcorn Video.
No way.
Called Jill's Soul Food, I think.
Yeah.
It's really good.
You sold me.
Highly recommend it.
I love me some soul food. That is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I remember when we used to work down there, we worked at the Walter State.
Okay.
And this was when they were still converting it from a hospital into a school.
I was born in that building. Yeah.
Oh, right on. I've been in that creepy neonatal area after it was a hospital, before they started working on it.
Oh, yeah, that's not terrifying at all.
With clowns on the walls and like, I don't know, they drew Disney characters that were not legally Disney characters, which made them just distorted and terrifying.
There is, and I say this with love, if any town of Greeneville people are watching, there is in the town's Christmas display every year, someone drew a legally different SpongeBob, but his forehead is like this big, so he looks like one of those aliens from the pilot of Star Trek. Right. And it just, Like 80% of his body's just forehead. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but I love it.
This whole place, I didn't have a cell phone with a camera on at the time, so I got no photos. It's long gone now, but I'll never forget those. And the other thing was we would drive to work, and Greeneville Wine and Beverage was on the way.
Okay.
And half of its sign had fallen off. So the sign said Green Beaver Liquor. And it was funny every single day that we drove by that sign. We did get photographs. It's on paper, the old paper photographs. But to this day, that is one of my favorite signs ever because we spent years making jokes of it. Just years. Well, thank you for joining us, Andy.
Thank you for having me.
Blue Plate Special. One more time.
Blue Plate Special. You can find us on Facebook at Blue Plate Special. We are on Instagram at BPS Improv. That's also our Twitter handle at BPS Improv. And so the night, 7 o'clock at the Capitol Theater in Greeneville for $5, and then again on the 23rd at the Capitol for $5. Both shows start at 7 o'clock, and then we'll be at the Gallenberg Improv Festival March 1st and 2nd.
Right on. It may be a surprise, but you'll find all that info down there in the description. Just so you don't forget. Check them out. Come back next week because Andy's, for us, it's going to be a few minutes.
Yeah, I will be wearing the same clothes.
He's not coming back next week. He's got to drive up from Greeneville. But join us next week. We're going to talk to Andy about himself here in just a minute. I look forward to this. We'll be back.